Welcome to this week's episode of Net Talk. I'm Mitch.
I'm Alex.
We're back. Welcome to the number one volleyball podcast in Australia.
By default.
By default. I actually got the email from Spotify being like, you're the top of your category. And I was like, it was like volleyball. It was like Australian volleyball. And it was like, we were the only ones.
And you're like, that's a category?
That was my first question.
Yeah.
My second question was, so we can find other volleyball podcasts. I clicked on it. No one. Just us.
Yeah.
So thank you to you guys, the fans, making us the number one by default in Australia.
Wow.
No. But it's been good. We're back again with this awesome setup. Thanks again to Controlled Chaos for setting us up. Won't talk about it today, but potentially next episode we might be in a different location.
Another change again.
It's
because we are just keep trying to refine and grow and look at now that the international season is ramping up.
we're trying to get ready.
Trying to get ready, get prepped so we can cover it in a way that's really accessible for this audience, get people more involved in that higher level of the game.
Well, it's accessible. You guys just click on YouTube or Spotify and you listen to it.
Yeah,
but we want to make it look.
We're making the information accessible.
Yeah, we're making the visuals really look accessible and stuff. So it'll be good. It'll be exciting. We'll see how it goes. We're growing quick. We apologize for the lack of short form content recently. Alex and I have been playing a lot of tournaments and stuff, which we'll talk about this episode. We've been really busy. September's like the busiest month of the year for us, I feel like. Maybe for me.
Yeah, for you.
Maybe not for you. I don't know why. All my work falls in September, along with all the volleyball tournaments I play. It's so
it's tournament season. At least I do think this volleyball calendar this year had a bit of a shift in when everything was planned. It feels a bit nicer. Maybe last year was the biggest change in terms of the volleyball calendar being shifted a little earlier.
Because of the AVL changing and all that sort of stuff.
So it's been better, I think, a bit more fluid season to season to off season, tournament season.
As long as it stays relatively similar year in year. Because you know, when it has these big changes, that's when it becomes really difficult.
Yeah.
But as long as I can plan my year around some sort of calendar, that's fine. Whatever. All right. It's time for the opening of our episodes from now on, the Slay and Shame. Alex, what is your week's?
Well, we got to introduce what a Slay and Shame is.
We did last week, didn't we?
No, I think we forgot it. But
we just did it.
We did it the week earlier for the Uni Nationals episode. It is a concept introduced by our Melbourne Uni women's team manager, Laura Pangrazio.
Your better half.
My better half. Way better half. So a bit of like a win, pit and peak, a win and a loss.
Yeah.
Your slay, something really good. Your shame, something awful.
Doesn't have to be about you. It can be about anything.
Yeah, it could be probably about Mitch.
Whoa.
Now, my slay
is also about me.
No, you don't get any wins.
Wow.
Is going to be for those friends of the show that know my vehicle. Had some tough troubles. It's had some hard yards over the years, but it's
had a lot of years too.
It's had a lot of years, but it's chugged along. It's old reliable. They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah.
From a different generation.
It's back from the dead.
It never died, all right?
It was well and truly dead.
It whimpered to a mechanic.
I had to pick you up last week.
And had to pick me up last week, yeah. But it was actually a very simple fix. I was just an idiot. Well, not my fault, and it just needed a new battery. There you go. Anyone out there in the car world with any car troubles?
I hope... Side note, I hope we get like 3 episodes down the track and suddenly you start talking about the new car that you got and people can reference this episode and be like, we just need a new battery. It's fine.
It's got another 30 years on the books, I reckon. Mechanic said, keep it chugging along. It'll be fine.
That car might make it to 100.
Yeah. It'll get up there. It's doing well. Chugs along, gets me to Dandenong and back too many times a week.
Yeah, far too many times.
Over the years, it's done some work.
You didn't take that to Canberra, did you?
No.
No, you took Laura's car.
No, but I've taken it to Cobram a couple times.
Oh, God.
Had some lovely trips with my beach volleyball partner up to Cobram.
The better Mitch.
Some stories on those drives that may come out at some point in terms of being in that vehicle.
Definitely.
It makes the trip fine.
Yeah.
Maybe another year. This can be its last hurrah when beach volleyball season comes around. I don't think
you just bought a new battery. Surely.
I don't think Laura would come in my car if I said we're going on a 4-hour drive.
I wouldn't even come in your car.
Damn.
I'd make you. I would drive. You can come in my car.
No.
Good sleigh. It is your car is still chugging along, and I will say
Thriving. 30, flirty and fun.
Yeah, no. What's your shame?
My shame can be we will cover an incredible tournament we went to that was run really well. I'm not shaming the incredible tournament.
That was the best
We had
tournament
a lot
we've
of
ever
fun.
been to.
Maybe I've got two. Well, my first shame can be myself playing really awfully on the first day. Was just sort of in the mindset to have a bit of fun.
We did have fun.
Yeah, we did, but I was just probably in the mindset just to kind of waltz through, not think I'd actually do much. But I'm probably the only person that played. A couple of us are still playing, but I'm the only one that doesn't have an excuse of being in the off season, considering I'm
Because you're still training more than anyone. Yeah.
But just
that is a big shame.
Just was waltzing, was having a lovely time.
Yeah. Okay. What's the other shame?
Was that tournament providing lovely food, incredible food, which we did eat
and we all got
really
grilled.
enjoyed. But then we also ordered separate food.
Yeah, and I think we got some dirty
Which
looks.
I think we didn't really realize. I personally didn't really realize the quantity of food that was there, and felt that I would be stealing from everyone. But I had a little try, and then was told to come back for more and more. And I was like,
it was
I just
good.
had lunch as well.
We'll talk about the food that was provided. It was really good. It was a great tournament.
Well, you're slaying shames.
Slaying shame. I didn't think of him, and I'm sort of now you put me on the spot, so these are probably going to be bad, but purely because we just did the other episode about the Tuesday's episode this week about the Mahindra Australian Volleyball Super League. I alluded to it in that episode, but my shame for the week is Oz Volley Instagram. I feel like they need to, as a fan, if I don't get to watch the games, I want to be able to open Instagram and see the results. But you can't. You're making me go to your, quite frankly, really awfully formatted website and find the results there. So shame for the Oz Volley Instagram. Just post, it's annoying because I know they do it for the story. So just post it and have it sit there so we can scroll and have a history of the league. I don't know. For me, that's a shame.
Just have a little gallery you can swipe through each game.
Also, because the planning for that episode, I couldn't find the results anywhere because everyone posted them on the stories, and I'm like, just post.
There's also a little difficulty watching the games this week. Trying to get on.
That can be a shared shame with SBS for putting volleyball probably on the last page at the bottom, making it very difficult to find. I know I had the troubles finding it. You had to watch it after it was posted.
I watched it
as a
after,
video.
but that was just due to being busy.
My sleigh is for our Renegades team playing in that tournament, getting through the first day and the second day injury free, considering we had just a very weird abomination of players coming together. We had most of our Prem 1 team, but then we had some Res 1 players that are coming up. We had a retired veteran come back who
slayed,
very much slayed. He proved why he was the best opposite for a long time, Alex. And yeah, we did better than we thought. We'll talk about the tournament in a little bit, but we slayed big time. It was a fun tournament. Definitely the best tournament I think I've ever been to. That's not true. It was the best tournament for what it was, basically a day and a half.
Yeah.
Whereas your 3-day Warrnables and your week-long junior nationals, those are for me the best tournaments I've ever been to. But this, for what it was, a day and a half tournament, was absolutely awesome. But yeah, so that's my slay and shame. We're gonna do this every week if we remember. It's written down now.
If there's a win and a loss in a week, if there's a positive and a negative, which there usually will be.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna have another shame to myself for my poor time management of this entire month. I've gotten dates mixed up. I've got unhappy clients about music that I have not delivered on time. I've just been an absolute mess this entire month. So that can be my shame for this episode, which I absolutely deserve. But so today's episode is just going to be about what Alex and I have been up to, the current scene around the National League, the international leagues and the tournaments that we've played and stuff like that. But going right into the Mahindra Australian Volleyball Super League, we already have an episode during the week for this, but we just wanted to talk about we think that they need to improve the marketing on this a little bit. I already said it. The Instagram needs to improve, I think.
Yeah, I'm giving best in show to Perth Steel. I think
They're so good.
a lot of the state bodies are having to do a bit more work on
Yeah.
their own, and Perth Steel's showing a bit of personality through theirs.
Yeah.
Maybe that's coming from players, don't know, staff, a lot, their marketing.
Yeah, I don't know
leaders.
who. I would like to know who that comes from. We have a couple friends. Well, we have one friend that works in the office that used to play for us, Jose. So I might reach out to him and suss what the go is. But their marketing looks awesome, and it's up to date. They post regularly. You can go on there and you can see exactly the history of their season. Like, it's good.
Because we are hypocrites, because we promise to post more regularly and,
Yeah,
and get more of our short form content. We've got a few interviews sitting there. So maybe we're
We've like 16
throwing a
interviews.
rock from a glass house of, we did record a couple of interviews pre-game, post-game over
Well,
the last
okay.
couple of rounds, and we'll get them out there.
Yeah, no, we're hobbyists though. These people, well, we think they work and do this, but like I think just the small thing of taking like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes to just post the results. Like most state-run Instagram pages do it, so I just feel like the Oz Volley should do it and have like an Oz Volley ladder update each round and results each round.
Yeah.
Like they have it on the website, so why not post the same graphic on the Instagram so that I can be lazy and just look at Instagram and have the results there. Like I don't know, like when the Volleyball Nations League is on, you don't have to watch every game. You can just follow the page.
Yeah, which is nice that it has its. I mean, the Super League has its own Instagram page separate from Oz Volley.
That's true.
So they could just
on
be
that
used
page as well.
On
Yeah,
that page could be used. Then we go we'll cover the local scene, the tournament season that's going on, club champs, which just happened.
You didn't play.
Didn't play.
We
end
didn't
up
get to
taking
play
the
each
team.
other. Yeah.
Yeah. So the team that I was intending to play for didn't go.
No.
Your
I
team
did go.
went and won.
We spent an entire like half an hour on how much you won with the OSSD boys.
No,
and
just cut
I
it
get,
short.
you guys won, and that's it.
Oh, it was too easy for you guys.
Yeah, not to sound a bit peacocky, but criticism for that tournament is I think Volleyball Australia need to figure out what that tournament needs to be. I don't think you can have an Australian Club Championships tournament on the same time as AVSL because the best clubs will have AVL players. So you sort of can't, like, we were the best club there because we had a lot of players that were playing AVL that weren't playing that weekend.
Yeah.
And like I normally play AVL. I'm not playing this year. I'm not a particularly amazing AVL player, but AVL player nonetheless. Whereas every other club that would have been there would have had AVL players busy or this or that. So, and even then, there's still clubs that are on the fringe that probably, it just don't play because they're either involved or it's busy or it's at an odd time. So I think, and my only criticism of that is like, the quality of the tournament wasn't particularly amazing for the price. If it was cheaper, wouldn't mind it. But $1,300 for that tournament that's a steep cost. Steep cost considering that we're comparing it to the volleyball tournament we played on the weekend just gone.
Yeah, a BBJSC tournament out in Pakenham.
Yeah.
We can cover now. We'll go into that because that was a great
That was awesome.
tournament that sort of got, a very strong team that you played with club champs coming over from India.
I'm not cutting that.
Yeah. leave that in as a little bit of a cutting me off, rude.
Sorry.
Just a great tournament that was run out of that community centre down in Pakenham. They have supposedly a lot of different sports going on that long weekend.
So there was volleyball, Kambadi, cricket, and what was the other one? Yeah, I can get it here.
I'm lost.
You keep talking.
So we sort of got an invite to come play that, essentially try and do a grand final rematch because a lot of those BBJSC boys play for Heidelberg in the State League season. And we obviously tried to get our club team together, those of us that were available. And it was just a really good tournament in terms of the vibe of the people that were there. It was very fun, casual, but still high quality volleyball.
Badminton was the other sport.
What was the other one?
Yeah.
Supplied food, which was incredible.
Well, let's
sorry.
start. Let's start from the beginning.
I'm just a big fan of food. No,
No, same. The food was excellent.
Yeah.
But so to playing this tournament was a couple $100. And we were like, all right, say less. Like that's the cheapest we've ever, like, yeah, there's some sponsors and stuff like that, sure. And I'm not too familiar with how BBJSC run their show. I get to play with them for Oz Club Chance. So I get to know those guys well and their culture. And it's if you're not aware, they're from Punjabi in India and they've come to Australia and they play. It's very, very different volleyball. And the way they've set it up, it's very different. So it's very new to me, very interesting to have their perspective of sort of what our perspective is, a very westernized version of volleyball. And yeah, so we were pretty much the only Australian team there. No, there was one other Australian team, the Oakley Rebels.
Yeah.
Which they're an Islander group that play. So, yeah. So, and the quality of the competition was like, it was a difficult tournament. Like we were sort of sitting there on the first day like, oh, they asked us to play because they wanted a grand final rematch, but are we actually going to make the grand final? Like, are we actually going to be able to do this?
Yeah.
And it wasn't timed volleyball. Like, and a lot of tournaments do that, and I hate it. I just cannot stand timed volleyball. What do you think of timed volleyball?
It just makes it so tough. I think in a short format, it makes it so much more variable in terms of bad stretches. Just, oh, wait, maybe you lose the first set.
Yeah.
Oh, your hour's up. Like you don't,
Yeah.
if you're in an hour, which is usually just the go-to for some reason, you can get through 2 sets maybe. But I just like longer form volleyball
Or
to
even
give
if it's-
chances for stuff to even out.
Because we played short form. We played best of 3, and the third set was decided at 15. And that worked really well. Like, yeah, some of the games went over slightly.
Yeah.
But the day didn't run that far behind because there was a few teams that would just get whacked into or whack into and then it would be caught up again.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was well run. There was free food. So they supplied like this curry truck that had these big tubs of like curry that just came out. There was naan, there was rice, like it was delicious as well. And yeah, as Alex's shame for our entire team, not really realizing that it was there. Or if we did, we didn't really like acknowledge that we were going to eat it for lunch because we ordered grilled. And we were like, why did we do this?
Yeah. And then maybe just like the thing that keeps those games running on time is how little people warm up.
Yeah,
Hey guys, game's supposed to start at 2. Oh, okay, yeah, let's just start now. Like,
yeah, we were the only team that would warm up.
No real warm up protocol. Just roll through. Do your casual arm swings.
Yeah,
that's how I warm up. But everyone else is.
I'm going to throw some of the BBJ guys under the bus. I've seen Parwan do about 5 leg swings total before every match. Manjot warms up a little bit. Cunny does a little bit as well, but compared to my 2 laps, my lunges, my lateral lunges, my squats, my super stretch, like my world's greatest stretch, my leg swings, my arm swings, like, yeah. We warm up very different.
I mean, I was feeling pretty lethargic. I needed my trigger point ball for a little longer and was just.
Didn't you forget it one day?
Yeah, I did. I didn't bring it Friday. I didn't bring it Friday. That's why I sucked.
Alex comes up to me and was like, Mitch, do you have a trigger point ball? And I literally looked at him. I was like, I
need it. I got to do my shoulder release. I got to do my lunges, my wall sits.
Yeah.
And then I just am like, oh, game's starting now. Perfect.
Yeah. We are quite literally built far worse than all those guys. Yeah, like it was a good tournament. And I think it was good because the quality was good. The games were tough. And we like back a few years ago when we used to play the Warrnambool tournament, like the Seaside preseason tournament, right? It was basically you play other state league teams, and then we played Rebels, which was back then before they were into state league, was more of like their Islander group that they played with. That was the only exposure to different volleyball that we'd ever seen. And we made the joke that like, for whatever reason, we always lost to Rebels and then would somehow make it back to the finals every year at Warrnambool and win or lose. But now, because of the Heidelberg boy or the BBJSC guys, we are exposed to different volleyball regularly. So, and each of these other Punjabi teams, there was like 6 or 7 of them. They all played at slightly different variations of the same sort of like Punjabi ball, I guess you could call it. And we've gotten pretty good at it after trying to beat the Heidelberg guys for a couple of years now. We've gotten okay at it, so we did all right.
Still didn't beat them at this tournament.
I'm going to say it's because they've upgraded. They've got more players that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
A couple of new guys have flown back from India, and they're apparently staying, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
So now they're even harder to beat.
Yeah, so I think it was a question in our very first episode, I think, was when will Heidelberg's reign of terror end?
Not
it's
soon.
no time soon.
Because
and
they've
it
got
is-
more players.
Yeah, their timeline is getting longer and longer as their team gets stronger and stronger.
Yeah. And I spent some time with them in Bendigo and realised that they're actually not as old as I thought they were, and that kind of is upsetting.
Because we're old.
Because we're old and we're probably age out before they do.
Yeah. I'll be retired in a couple of years. And
Yeah. I was more happy, like, we got whacked in the first set of that final. And then we end up whacking them a little bit in the second set.
yeah.
And we were like, yeah. And then the third set, they came out real strong. We were like, oh, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, we're done.
We tried.
We
We
really
were all right,
did.
but first time there was a little bit of prize money for second place. It was a good
It was
incentive to get to the
nice.
final, and it was nice that there was good support there in terms of actual people watching.
There was a heap of people watching. Yeah, it was
different
wicked.
other side of town, so a bit hard for anyone from our club to go watch because it's just that little bit further.
No, where's the commitment? Come on.
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't
They
post.
probably didn't believe we were going to make the final either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so fair. But we did, despite, I feel like for a couple of years now, we've been the team that no one expects to make finals, but we end up making finals. Someone made that joke to me and I was kind of like, wow, that's kind of
Hey, someone said that to me. Like, oh, yeah, you guys really re-improved state league season. And I was like,
re-improved.
like, got back to form last year at state league. Yeah, I did say a word that doesn't exist. That's okay.
No, I thought it existed. I just was sort of like, what do you mean?
Because we had a long stretch being the club that was in state league finals for 3 to 4 years, 2017 through 2016, even maybe through 2020.
Yeah, 2016 through to 2019,
and then 2020,
and then back in at 2022.
Back in, and then just got knocked out. But we got knocked out by the eventual winners in 2023.
We just didn't have a good season.
Yeah, just sort of a bit of a disjointed roster at points and a sort of game plan that maybe fell apart at the end. And
quite
just-
a new team as well.
Yeah,
we had
team
a
to
lot
that,
of changes.
to that scenario. And then someone was like, oh, see, but you guys are back in the final. I was like, yeah, but it feels like we always had the potential to be there.
We had to figure it out for a year.
Yeah.
We needed like that year to like, all right, what's
Which is
our
good because
identity?
sometimes professional clubs, every sport, anywhere, like if you don't recover quickly, you can really go into a lull of
falling off and
falling
just
off.
not really being relevant anymore. But yeah, so it was a great tournament. We're super happy to have been invited, and we hope to be invited back when they do it again. They actually do it quite regularly throughout the year. Speaking of like tournaments throughout the year, something that Alex and I wanted to talk about was this is a two-parter conversation. So I combined two words that definitely don't exist then. The international pro season is underway. So the Superlega men and women, so the Italian league is on, and the Plus Liga men, and actually have not seen the women. I know there is.
Yeah, if
But
it's
on
started,
Polsat, it's like not there.
maybe not.
I just realized that as I
As you
was
were
saying that sentence, that because I posted the Polsat link for those who want to watch it in the previous episode, it's there. So you can go and you can pay your $15 and watch the Polish league. I just realized that I did not see the women's there on that. I'm sure it's there. Anyways, I digress. But going back to tournaments and the pro season, a lot of these, and when I say a lot, I mean basically every single one of these professional leagues do a preseason tournament. And when I say preseason, I mean literally the week of round one, a mid-season tournament, and I believe there's a couple either side of that. So the Super Copper just happened.
Yeah.
The women's finished legitimately like 12 hours ago, as of recording this. For you guys, it'll be on Friday. It'll be like a week ago, but whatever. The Super Copper is essentially the top 4 teams from the previous season go at it again. And it's legitimately just semi-final, final. 3 matches, that's it. And they just play. It's an exhibition. It's a preseason warm-up. It's a get the fans involved, like, hey, we're starting our season again, come back. And the Polish league do the exact same. They had theirs a week and a half ago. I don't actually know who. I think it was JSW who won that, but it doesn't really matter. I think volleyball in Australia needs to start doing that. I think it's great. And I just want more chances to play BBJSC and win. I just want to win against them in a match that actually matters
More
once.
chances to lose. Because you're saying a pre-season tournament would matter more?
Well,
there's a bit more pedigree behind there.
These sort of, yeah.
So it would come in time with introducing it.
Yeah.
Would love to see it as well. Because there should be, if not that, just a longer season as well in our national league.
Oh, yeah, National League and or local league.
Local league. Because, the pre-season environment for Victorian volleyball has had to shift sort of to unofficial pre-season tournaments. A lot of clubs do go to Warrnambool as their sort of pre-season marker.
Well, we have for years.
Yeah.
But not to replace those, just in addition. Like Volleyball Victoria should run like who are the top 4 teams? Us, Heidelberg, Monash, Yarra. On the men's, and on the women's it was the same except for Dandenong instead of Monash, I believe. So it's like, let's just have a quick exhibition match in or maybe in MSAC would be better for us. What do you think?
Yeah, because that brings crowds, people watching, wanting to see how teams changed from the previous year in the Super Copper on the men's side. An additional player brought a bit of a crowd. Ishikawa's first season with his team, and he comes out and wins MVP.
Just blitzes it.
And absolutely,
just annihilated
dominates
everyone.
So that is probably how you get people to watch and be invested right from the start of the season, because that's when pre-season, start of the season, there's so much focus and intent on volleyball, and sort of it wanes to the middle of the season and then back at the end of the season. So maybe a mid-season tournament as well, somewhere sort of check. I do like and wish they could probably grow. Every year there's usually a showcase game that runs at Schools Cup. Yeah. Wish that was probably a bit of a bigger thing.
Previous years they've picked some pretty average.
Yeah, just make it like a top 1v2 on the ladder.
Yeah,
game.
And maybe it doesn't matter for the league. Maybe it's just an exhibition match for the sake of it. I do know this is an assumption, but a pretty informed assumption. The mid-season tournament for the Italian league is like the Italian Cup or something, and it's essentially the current top 4 teams of the ladder do a mid-season tournament, and there's like a week and a half break for the rest of the league, and it's literally just like that mid-season break. That would also be interesting for Volleyball Victoria to run something like that. So the women's finished last night as well for the Super Copper. How do you pronounce the team that won?
Because it was a very good...
I don't want to get it wrong, but I will get it wrong. Conegliano. Is that it?
Yeah, that's what I would have said too, definitely. Played Milano in their final, a very, very close match. Yeah. And I've seen that they have been in the final of the last 8 tournaments in this league across pre-season, mid-season tournaments, the Coppa Italia. They have just been playing each other, and Conegliano has won every single time. Yeah. So this makes it 9 now in a row that they have won, and they were very, very good.
They have they have Gubby playing for them, and I believe
across the board they're very solid. Hark on attack was
20?
Yeah, 20 attacks.
And
we've
19
got some stats here we can look through. It's just absurd to see, and to watch. 30 attempts.
I haven't been able to watch the whole match, but I've seen some highlights. Yeah. And some pretty gnarly highlights out there.
I can't pronounce names though, so that's where I go wrong.
Yeah, no,
Lukashik?
Yeah.
Good name. They're just the players you say. A name you see around. Milano has a few as well. If you watch our episode last week on the Plus Liga as well about the domestic player rule, this brings with the rule where you have to have 4 Italian players in your starting lineup. Yeah. And then I believe you can make substitutions.
But you still have to have 4 players of Italian citizenship in your starting 7 at all times. I
Yeah.
believe that's the
Yeah.
interpretation.
Yeah.
Because for example, when Lorenzo Pope played for Modena, like the issue there was he wasn't going to take over Ningapeth off, and they had to have, I believe it was Thomas Rinaldi, who was the Italian-born other pass hitter, and it's like Lorenzo couldn't take him off because he was the Italian
Domestic.
Yeah, he was the domestic player, but it was like occasionally in matches that they'd smash and didn't matter, Lorenzo would occasionally take Irvin off, which is not something I would think any player would want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the interpretation. Someone comment and correct us if we're wrong or if I'm wrong. But yeah, I couldn't actually find it in writing anywhere.
So it's interesting to see how teams juggle their players. A lot of these are Italian players with a few others. Like this game's so close if you get a chance to watch it. Like
65 to 64 attacks overall.
11 to 9 blocks in Milano's favour. 8 aces in Milano's favour to 2 from Conegliano.
29 errors to 15
They
errors.
forced a lot of errors just through their attack off block as well. But I mean, Milano still got a lot of blocks.
It goes to show though that like, you know, a lot of coaches and people and players are really obsessed over errors, like keeping them low and that. Even at this level,
Yeah.
29 errors, that's an entire set.
Yeah. That you're making your opponent just give up.
But that's
in
pressure,
such a close
right?
game that was
Went down to the wire.
25-20, 25-16, 21-25, 25-23, 15-11. Like,
Yeah, it really went down to the wire.
yeah, just back and forth. Because then on the men's side was very similar.
Perugia.
Back at the top. They've been at the top for a while, actually, haven't they? Perugia?
They had that one choker of a season a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Where they lost to, I believe it was Milano. The men's
Milano.
Who, funny enough, am I going to butcher this? So I mentioned it a couple episodes ago where Perugia undefeated the entire season. They were top. Milano were 8th.
Yeah.
And they end up losing the quarterfinal series. And Ishikawa was on that Milano team, and now he's on the Perugia team. I can't believe a team like Perugia lost a player like Leon and gained Ishikawa, who arguably fits them a little bit better than Leon does.
Yeah, because they win against Trentino 3-2. Another nail biter. Till that 5th set, they ran away with it a little bit. 15-9 is a bit of a gap in a 5th set, but Ishikawa just had 17 kills or 17 points, and then Semenyuk being amazing. Gianelli is their setter. Like, it's just those players I'm really, like, you've recognised from the Olympics that are tearing up, and then Trentino's got Michieletto and Kozimiernik, the middle from Slovenia.
Yeah.
Good volleyball if you get the chance to watch this. Like, these...
I think Ishikawa had something to prove playing against Michieletto after losing to him in the Olympics, I reckon. Yeah.
These were very close statistically as well, with both teams having very similar error rates in terms of Perugia made Trentino have 30 errors, and Trentino
is that 18
29
blocks to 9?
Yeah.
Oh my!
That's what I was going to say. Is like
that's silly.
Gave these a little once over. Both teams seemed very similar in terms of their service efficiency. Both had 5 aces.
Yeah.
But Trentino lost as a significantly better blocking side, which doesn't normally happen.
No.
If you can get 18 blocks to 9,
that's silly.
You'd usually be pretty happy.
It's also funny because Perugia are known, like their motto is the Block Devils.
Yeah.
But like you got out blocked by Trentino.
Yeah.
Who, to be fair, you're looking at that lineup of like Michieletto, Flavio, Lavia, who's their other middle? Kozimiernik.
Yeah, Kozimiernik.
That's a blocking lineup. That's a terrifying. Well, Lavia not so much, but like I suppose on the other side you've got Loser, you've got Bentara, who's a monster, Gianelli, who's a monster, like
Semenyuk got a block, and Ishikawa got 2. Like,
how many times did Ishikawa get blocked? I reckon it was probably a few.
Yeah, he got how many times did he get blocked?
Did he get blocked?
Ooh. I don't have it down. I just have his errors. 6 errors.
Okay. Maybe it's like 6 blocks.
On it. Yeah. he doesn't make many errors other than that.
No, and
But he had 6 blocking errors, so he was targeted a little bit, probably.
I mean, if it's him or
100%
Semenyuk, I'm probably Semenyuk's one of the best passers around. He's so stable. Like
blocking, he got targeted as a blocker. He made 6 blocking errors, which is a lot of direct errors to make as a blocker when you have a negative 44% efficiency.
Ooh,
Hurts a little bit.
but he's the smallest player on the team, so that kind of makes sense. I thought you said targeted, and I'm thinking serve. Like,
as in, you channel a lot of your offense through that position.
Actually, I don't know if what I said makes any sense. I feel like Semenyuk or Ishikawa. Like, who are you serving out of those two?
Skyball, neither. Underarm it and crawl into a ball.
Yeah. All right, so that's the Super Coppa. Perugia won. Trentino lost. That'll tell you what, that's probably going to be the final this year, I reckon, as well. And on the women's side.
I've never followed the Italian league super closely in the past, just through watching it. But for those that, like, this is probably the easiest one to get access to. It's just on VBTV.
Yeah, Volleyball World TV.
Yeah, Volleyball World TV.
It's pretty cheap too. I think you can get a discount right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get sponsored by them and we can give everyone a discount. I don't know how that works, but I know other podcasts do it.
Probably need to
be a bit better.
Keep improving our coverage of their games.
Yeah.
So we can maybe do some live watch-alongs of that stuff when it gets towards mid-season stuff and finals. And
maybe it's probably because we can't pronounce the teams or the players properly. Yeah.
We need to get our Italian players to come help us pronounce, but he's currently left. Actually, we have another Italian player.
We have a few Italian players on our team.
But our resident Italian that played with us for the last couple of seasons is currently in France.
So he'll be back. He will be back.
Yeah, a bit confusing.
Soon, actually.
A bit confusing to say my Italian player went to France, but he's just
studying things. Last thing about that, also on Volleyball World TV, you can catch the Big Ten network, which is like the NCAA Div 1. Alex and I actually don't really know how this works. I've actually followed it for a long time, but I still don't really know how it works. But essentially, it's like the NCAA Div 1. It's called Big Ten, but there's actually 16 teams.
18
teams.
I had this credit because I was like, in my head, Big Ten was the top
best
10 because in other sports at NCAA, like it's whatever conferences and however many teams. But Big Ten to me was, it's the 10 best universities, however they're designated. But it's 18 teams. So maybe it needs a rebrand, but it's pretty good quality stuff over there. Like the college age students. It's a different kind of volleyball again.
I watch the finals and like that's pretty much it. I don't really watch the season stuff because there's so much going on. It's very hard to follow. It's also not all the games are broadcasted, so it's harder to follow like that. But I like watching the finals because the finals are very high quality and it's also a very good show. Like when I think about the things that I want to bring to like, this podcast, if we ever get into broadcasting or helping out with broadcasting for Volleyball Victoria once we finish playing or whatever, I would be looking at those NCAA final broadcasts and going like, all right, how can we emulate that? Because they're just sick. They're massive spec. Like college sport in America, they know how to run.
Yeah, they just have such a good system over there from all sports, I think, the college age athletes. Although a few Americans that come to Australia on exchange or whatnot do critique it a little bit, that they actually say Australia's got a pretty good system because as soon as you age out of college, most people in America stop volleyball specifically, or you go to sort of local social club tournaments.
Yeah.
You're either,
if you're not going
you're
pro,
either pro by then, you're either national team by then, or you're done.
Or you're going to your degree.
Playing for club, social, like little tournaments here and there.
Yeah.
But they're like, it's really great that Australia can say one thing we do well is our participation rate and having a state league, a sort of accessible club volleyball.
Because they don't really have club. Well, they do now.
Because we do the flip where we have no college system really. But
we're also
representation's not really there at that age.
It's a bit irrelevant though because look at where US is on a world stage of volleyball and look at where we are. Yeah. A little bit behind.
Just a bit. Just a touch.
Moving on though. So go check out Volleyball World TV. Watch just throw something on. Even in the background, just throw it on. Don't watch highlight reels. Big no-no. All right. This episode is brought to you by Andor. Now, as some of you know, a good friend of ours and a good friend of the show and our Melbourne University Renegades captain, Michael Cirillo, has recently started his own mortgage broking business. Not only this, but Mike and Andor Financial have committed to supporting and sponsoring Net Talk for the indefinite future. If you didn't know, Mike has spent the last 10 years in the finance industry in both financial planning and mortgage broking roles, and is super passionate about empowering people to take control of their financial future. So if you or someone you know is in need of a home loan or would like to review their current lending situation, please reach out to Mike and Andor Financial. Everything will be linked below. And we again thank you, Mike, for supporting our podcast and being a great mentor for Alex and I over the years that we've been fortunate enough to play in the team.
Yeah, with him, he's always had a great role with us. So we'd love to support him back and show him some love. So if you're looking for anything like that, I said he's a great decision maker on the court. He'll help you make some good financial decisions. So reach out to him because that's a great little thing he's doing in his own brokerage.
Yeah. And in this day and age, I don't know the first thing about buying a house. So he's definitely my go-to. But check out the links in the description. Check out the website. It'll all be there. I just realized we did this whole episode out of order.
Yeah, that's all right because we can talk about that. Like a little thing from I showed you on Instagram. One of my favorite things about the don't look at highlights is my new favorite thing I'm seeing on Instagram. I don't know. It just keeps getting recommended to me is like low lights.
Oh, the brassard tipping into the net.
Yeah, it's like this happens at every level.
Yeah.
And it is just absolute low lights of setters dumping into the net. But it's not always just ragging on setters. It's other stuff.
Like what? Opposites not playing defense?
Maybe like an opposite. He says he was playing off hands, but he just tipped it like 4 meters out the court to the left.
That should have been my shame.
That should have been your shame, but you forgot about it.
Too
late.
No. For context. Okay. Alex is playing right side. Okay. You're on the right side.
I was on the right side. I was playing right side.
So set was tight. You had one blocker.
And inside, really bad.
It was fine.
No, it was really inside.
I believe I got a set like that similarly the next game. I'm pretty sure I bounced it. But anyways.
I don't think
So inside, tight to the net, you had one blocker who, by the way, was not anywhere near where you were. He was sucked into the antenna and you stepped in really well. What was going through your head before what I I'm about to say?
I can't swing. My arm was too far from my body. I didn't get my body in the right position.
Yeah, okay.
Because I just was kind of praying that it would carry a bit further to my right shoulder.
Yeah.
Being a right-handed opposite, it's a tough gig.
Use your feet, mate.
I tried.
Well, okay, so Alex goes to wipe the block. First of all, wrong side. You can't wipe on that side.
I was actually just trying to tip it in aggressively at the setter. I was trying to take out the setter and I just contacted under the ball.
He threw it out the left side of the court. I've actually never seen like the throw that you threw it. You would have had to throw that ball easily like 9 meters because it was out by like
harder
a meter
than
and
I
a half. Yeah, you threw that ball.
Yeah,
we all turned around and just laughed. We were like, "What happened?" And then like, I believe one of the linesmen maybe got sucked into thinking like, "Oh, did he touch that ball?" And then the other linesman was like, "What are you looking at?"
Wasn't
Absolutely
really there.
Not. Yeah, it's good. It was a good laugh.
Wasn't my best exhibition of volleyball. It's a tough thing. I'm not a tournament volleyball fan. I like having a bit more time. I love getting in the mindset to play, playing,
and then going home.
But it's like the game to game to game. And I was having fun sitting on the bench a little bit, letting our retiree come out from the nursing home and play a game. Come from his coastal life, make him travel from his coastal life all the way to Pakenham just to play with us. So I was just having some fun with that.
It was a good fun tournament.
Yeah, it was nice. Hope we get to go back to that every year.
Yeah, they were pretty happy to have us, I think. Moving on though, check out the Mahindra Australian Volleyball Super League final. The final round is this weekend. New South Wales coming to us, and who's going? Adelaide going to
Canberra?
Canberra?
Yeah, Adelaide's going to Canberra.
We talked about it on the Tuesday episode, but yeah, like give me your thoughts on like the league so far.
How, like, feedback on how it's running, how you think this season's going. Now that it's the second year of the format.
Yeah.
Maybe people are getting more comfortable in the format. Still a bit of a different format. Not my favorite
Do you like it?
format.
You don't like it?
It's okay. I understand its needs and requirements. Probably needs to. I don't know. I do like it. I think I've come back to it too many times now in this episode and the last episode on the Plus Liga. I love the idea of series volleyball.
No, same.
Playing a best of 3 matches to decide, or
Yeah.
a best of 5 if you had the time, because it just allows sort of a little bit more weight and stuff. Like, if you're like trying to clean sweep a team, or you're dead even 2 matches all going into a deciding 5th game. Like,
Imagine getting like double reverse swept,
yeah,
like being up 2-0
yeah.
in 2 games of the series and then getting reverse swept.
Because that's what brings good moments and stories to sport. Like, other sports have it. NBA has it.
It's best of
LeBron
7,
comes
isn't
back
it?
from 3-1 down. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't happen, and everyone talks about that 7 years later. Like,
Yeah.
that's sort of what brings a higher stake to it. I think it just needs more teams and stuff.
I think it needs more teams and it needs to be longer.
Yeah.
I personally, it's just frustrating because I understand the compulsory 5 sets, the need to fit it into a broadcast window. Like, I understand all those things, but I just don't like it that much. Like, I want the players to play volleyball, like actual 5-set, best of 5 sets volleyball.
Yeah.
I want the season to be longer, and
Yeah.
I would like to see more teams in. I would like to see the BBJ guys play. I would like to see even potentially like licensed franchises, like maybe Uni Blues comes back, maybe the New Zealand team comes over, the Tasmanian team gets added back in. Like, I would like to see all these things, but I understand the barriers. The biggest one being financial.
Yeah. Cost of adding all those extra things.
Yeah, and as soon as the season goes longer, the cost just gets blown out for all the players, and the players do have to pay. Like, it's no secret. Like, we're not getting paid. Well, you're not getting paid.
Not playing.
True.
Can't get paid to play if you
That's
don't
true.
play.
If you're not playing.
But you get paid at these
That's
fun
not true.
tournaments. So
I sat on the bench for the final and I got prize money as well.
yeah.
I was tempted to sub myself on for you though.
You did sub yourself on for me.
And
Made the same mistakes I did.
I did not. I came on and ripped a back A and won the point.
After saying
And then
to
my
me,
shoulder was like, oh my
after
God.
saying to me, oh, I'm going to sub myself on so Cam stops setting the back A. Because
he looked at me, he's like, back A.
And then
I was
the
like,
first
yeah.
option he ran was a back A. And
I
I was
killed
like,
it.
yeah, fair enough.
I killed it. And I also killed my shoulder in the process because
Yeah,
I was like
man.
2 sets off, shoulder was cold. And like, I didn't play a lot on the weekend by design because my shoulder was very sore from Bendigo. So I was happy to not play that much. And then in the final, I was like, oh my God, my shoulder is something else. Like, I think I hit one ball in the warm-up, turned to you, and you were like, are you okay? And I was like, absolutely not.
You need a trigger point ball.
No, I don't believe in it. It's not even my shoulder. It's actually my lat. Like,
Yeah.
my if I pull my shoulder blade in a certain position, it like cramps. So I need to probably just do some pull-ups or something.
I don't know how volleyball is such a sport that creates so many aches. So many aches and pains.
But then I see the BBJSC guys just don't warm up and they just never get injured. I don't. And I also see,
just
I
have
don't
good
know.
technique. They're just agile and probably
Yeah,
land correctly and move well.
Yeah, I probably don't
Don't.
do any of those things.
None of the above.
Hey, I can hit the ball pretty hard.
Yeah, but it's good to watch them do it.
Yeah, it's true. They hit the ball far harder than I can.
Yeah.
And they can tip the ball far harder than you can.
I tipped that ball really hard that went
Yeah.
out.
No, you did. But yeah, for AVSL, I would like just to see. Yeah, like, again, I just don't know if the AVL is the right format for Australian volleyball. I feel like maybe copying something like the Champions League in Europe would
Like
be
top clubs from each
Yeah,
state.
maybe. Like, that has a lot more challenges, but I
Yeah.
think it would also solve a lot of problems. Like, a lot of the problems well, not problems, but a lot of the barriers potentially is like, we play for Renegades. We then have to trial again and play for 2 different teams throughout the year. And those 2 teams have different systems, different players, different routes, different coaches. Like it's how often at our level do you do that? Like at a professional level, you have your club team and your international team. And it's like, yeah, you're getting paid to mentally focus on 2 different systems throughout the year, whatever, whatever. Even those 2 seasons don't really align. Whereas AVL and local season, they almost overlap.
Yeah, that selection time and training period pre-season where you're really trying to adjust your brain to an AVL format.
Yeah.
And that training environment and that system, you're going into finals of state league.
It's tough. And even like, think about like small little things. Like, for example, something that I knew I would struggle with, but I haven't been able to go to a lot of the AVL trainings this year just because work's been a nightmare. But for example, position 6 in AVL usually takes the second ball if the setter takes the first. But in our club team, our libero takes it because we have a very proficient libero and he takes it and our setter is great at defense. So that's just a system we've run with for years and we haven't needed to change it. So something as small as that often causes some communication issues in trainings and sometimes even in games.
Or on my side, like I get the opposite where I came back to our club team and a ball comes over the net close to position 2. And me as an opposite at AVL have been shifting to leave that for either the middle to take if it's in front of the 3 metre line or anything further the pass hitter or the libero unless it's really on the opposite. But then I'll come back to the club team and I'll do it and I'll get yelled at. I go, oh, sorry, that's too much of me expecting a middle to come and take cover me. So I'm just like, so you can just run a spread offense on that outer system because middles can still pass and run that very easily rather than having to pass, transition and run it.
Especially like
tempo.
Yeah. We need to start building like graphics and stuff because I want to be able to show this. But if everyone like thinks about this right really quickly, something I've been teaching in my teams at the moment is like middle should take that ball. Yeah. Because if the middle goes to position 2, they can still run an A and a push and a C and even a B if they're quick enough. But if an opposite takes that position, especially a backcourt opposite, if a backcourt opposite comes up and takes that position 2 ball, there's no way they're getting back for a back A. So a smart blocker just goes.
Yeah. Except for me because I'm really agile and really fast.
You would be one of the slowest opposites I think I've played with.
Efficient is what I like to say.
Efficient. Oh, like the Irvin Engelbeth. Yeah. Efficient, lazy, but good.
Yeah.
Nah, fair enough.
I'll be working on that again now. It's going to beach season.
Can we get a countdown for Alex's marathon?
No.
Isn't it like next week?
It's coming up, start of October. 2 weeks, a week and a bit into October. My goal
is to finish.
Is to survive.
I don't know if you're going to be
alive.
42Ks? Is that a marathon?
Yeah, I felt really, for those at home, my training has taken a detour.
For those at home, his training is not existent. It doesn't exist.
I felt really athletic a few months ago. I signed up to this because I was going to have fun running, covering, just running, but running's not very enjoyable.
You literally signed up for a marathon.
Yeah.
Let us know.
I don't have anything deep meaning behind it.
Yeah, most people were like, "Oh, I just want to know that I can do it."
And I'm like, this is my last chance to do it.
Nah, you peak later long distance running.
No.
All right.
Peaked at 16, so it's been a steep decline since then.
I can't even deny that. Yeah. No, there's no way.
17, maybe.
Yeah, maybe 17. I'll give you that one. Let us know in the comments if you want to see some footage of Alex running a marathon.
Can I be mic'd up the whole way?
The camera, the microphones won't last that long because I know you won't finish it in time.
Sunrise to sunset.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I said the joke to someone the other day. It's like, I will be there at the finish line after the event finishes because you won't be there.
I'll go for a run later today. Couple Ks maybe.
No, you won't. That's okay. We might have like a donation. Donate to Alex's cause for his recovery bills.
It'll be all right. I just don't even have... Well, volleyball brings you out as well. Volleyball injuries, like, just bad like feet injuries, like toes, TMI, maybe.
Yeah.
But just like running makes those issues worse.
Yeah. All right. Enough about the marathon. Thanks for tuning in today. We appreciate all of your time and listening to us waffle on about volleyball. We encourage you to follow us on all the social medias. They will be in the description, and all the links we've spoken about in the episode will be in the description. Thanks again to Andor for sponsoring, also in the description.
Show them some support.
Yep.
Investigate that. If you're interested in anything financial, they'll be able to help.
Yeah. This has been Net Talk. I'm Mitch.
I'm Alex.
And goodbye.